Bart Landis and Brett Barnack. It was a really nice presentation, kind of got us up to speed on what their activities are currently. And they also have offered, their expertise when we start to, look into, next steps. Even when we get our public survey, we're getting ready to get our public survey for our new master plan. They've been offered to, come and, talk to us about what kind of questions, lend any kind of guidance they possibly can. So that was very nice. The master plan update is we received 2 respondents. One was around 108,000, the other was around 93. So the current plan is to go back to them and ask them to just pare the bid down to getting the survey completed and interpreted, so at least we can get that far and see what we, get a survey out to the public and, find out what's going on, and then we'll resume the next phase of it in the next budget season. So hopefully we can get some information back by our meeting this week and see what we can do there. And the other thing we have is, and we'd love to have permission to move forward with this, I think Kathy sent out emails. I don't know if you received it in print. I have a copy here. But basically, we want to do a beta test with our community garden. We would like to model our little test after the Ifrit Park in Marvin. For the first year, we wouldn't have a rental fee. Either a key lock or a combination lock would be installed, and only 2 beta testers would have access. The benefit, obviously, of the combination locks is that we can change them, each season. John has offered to volunteer to water the gardens, but all the users would need to bring their own tools and gloves. We've got some attached sample forms and guidelines for these 2 testers. We can modify it if need be. We wouldn't obviously. I don't think we were gonna. We aren't going to charge a fee for this season, but the testers will kind of give us some information as to whether or not this would be something beneficial going forward, and then maybe next year, depending on what section of the growing season they want to participate in, we'll have maybe come up with a rent structure for the beds. But we were hoping that we could maybe get some permission to move forward with at least this, now while it's still good planting season for folks.
I don't understand the need to have access to the lock or the gate or anything when the first item says it's open and closes with a park, and the gate opens and closes with a park. So I don't understand the need.
No, it would be on the around the garden. The lock would be on the garden, if I understand it correctly.
Yes.
As opposed to the gate.
Well, because this literally says combination lock on the gate, which I took to be the park gate. So definitely,
The
it's
garden
not what
gate.
it says.
Okay, we'll have to tweak that.
Yeah, please. Because I was like, that makes no sense to allow them in the park otherwise.
I understand.
Also, I don't understand the power tool prohibition, even including battery operated tools, such as they're trying to, I have no idea how prepared the soil would be. So I was clear on that.
Okay. Well, we can.
It makes me nervous to have them out there with kids and children around.
Well, yeah, I think that's kind of the, the expectation location, and I'm not sure that the beds are that big.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
not something you're gonna put a chiller in. I
Right,
mean,
yeah.
the beds are only, maybe 3 feet wide and 8 feet long.
Also, number 11 says illegal or poisonous plants are prohibited. Invasives need to be prohibited.
Okay, good point.
Especially if you're growing a lot of flowers or ornamentals.
Any other questions?
When's the season for this? You're saying you want to do a beta, but what would you envision is the season? Would you say stop with this beta?
Spring, fall.
Yeah,
Spring
well,
almost.
yeah, we're pushing, that's why we wanna kinda get this in. The thing, I think, depends, I mean, obviously, if you wanted to plant something like, what is it, asparagus, that's a spring.
It takes many years to harvest, so that's not.
Yeah, I mean,
That should be on the list. Anything that requires more than one season is not allowed.
that's a good point too. Maybe we should just, say tomatoes or whatever that you know.
Yeah, seasonal plant, seasonal, yeah.
Okay, any other suggestions?
And do we have a designated compost area?
Well, do we? Yes and no, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, we can't say they have to use it if we don't have one. It's, I'm sure that's clearly identified.
Well,
Unless John wants to designate one before this test starts.
Well, these are the reasons we want to do a test. These things will help flesh out any other issues that we would come up on.
David just said you could just say all organic waste shall be removed.
Okay.
Yeah, I can find out. The other thing is on fertilizer, insecticides, and dust to not affect adjacent gardens. That's pretty hard to do. Without a lot of care, and especially if someone's trying to grow organic. Perhaps we only allow organic gardening.
Well, it would be a good beta test. See what you get by the end of the season.
Well, you could get a lot if you don't kill all the insects around, but you have to expect some of the crop goes to the insect. It's part of your payment.
I'm definitely for limited use of insecticides and
Well, even organic insecticide can be dangerous, they have to use the appropriate, but at least with organic gardening, every gardener has an opportunity to harvest organic vegetables, and that's what they're trying to do.
Well, I would hope that that's the kind of gardeners we're going to attract.
I personally just haven't had about the effectiveness of this.
Helps. The overall goal for these are to have gardens, of course, there in the park. But, I mean, where do you guys, how do you guys see this developing if the beta test works? What's the goal of the gardens?
I may jump in here, but I think it was both educational as well
Yeah,
as,
she's the park committee chair.
Yeah, he needs to talk.
Well, it's, our hope is obviously something that the community would use, educate, and we could be educational, like Mike said, and, productive for the community.
How long is either test going?
That I don't know. I would have to find out.
And with
But
those,
apparently they're doing okay with that.
and with those, the people, groups that are responsible for the gardens, they
church wanted to do a garden, they could donate it to their food pantry, et cetera, et cetera. There's probably a lot of different, you know.
So where are these beds gonna be, and where's the gate? Is there a gate exist already?
Fencing gate
Fencing,
already.
yeah.
They're behind the daycare, the
Daycare.
playground.
Yeah, they're in that area.
They're behind the playground, in that area.
Well, what fence is back there?
Well, I think they're gonna put up a fence.
Garden, they're just garden fences.
Just the, I'm confused. Garden fencing that you can put locks on implies something more substantial than a vinyl fence.
I'm having a hard time hearing you, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we are too.
I
You think
said,
a
I'm
little bit
having
louder?
a hard time understanding a garden fence that's secure enough to put a lock on if it's a vinyl garden fence.
If it's a what fence?
Vinyl, like a lot of them here down the street are they're just vinyl sometimes, or what?
They're
what is
vinyl
it?
or they're wire.
It's chain link.
Chain
Yeah,
link.
it's chain link.
So we already have this, this is
Yes.
already existing,
I'm looking for a photo of it.
and already installed, I just never noticed.
And anyone who wants to participate in the garden is gonna have access to the key. So it's only to keep the individuals out who like to vandalize and do things like that.
But they jump over the fence. They
Here's,
climb the trees, so
It'll make it a little bit harder if we can.
I honestly really do not understand that.
it's been there since
Oh, I'm not doubting.
September 2022.
Yeah, I'm not doubting you, because I understand.
The playground's right here.
Yeah, I think it's because that's where my vision stops.
No, so the fence is there, the gate's there, the only thing that would need to be added is a
That's,
lock.
The beds haven't been built either, have they?
two now.
Two of them now.
So this is a 2-year using for your beta test?
And they already have dirt or soil running around?
Isn't there gonna be more built? A couple more
Yes.
built?
It
Yeah.
passed the beta.
There's room for 8.
But a couple more should be built as part of the beta test, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, as a result of what we find out, if the beta test doesn't work.
It's, the request is for a beta test with 2 garden beds.
Mhm.
And no more beds will be built unless there's a successful beta test.
That's right. That's not what I understood. Okay.
There's no additional.
Well, I love the idea. I'll be honest with you. The community garden.
Well, I'm interested to see how it'll
Yeah, I think
pan
it's
out, and I'm
a
all
great
right
idea.
with doing a test versus going all in on, something that we just don't like, because we have mulled this around in many meetings about who's gonna do this. Then we had a group that was older, and we realized that most of them were in their late 70s and 80s, and, they're not gonna wanna come down and, or maybe yes, maybe no, so it was just too much, to be determined.
So does anybody want to make a motion regarding the community garden beta test?
I'll motion to go ahead and do the beta test with the notations that council's made. With, a basic species and
Organic.
organic fertilizer.
So are we
Seasonal-
including all of the
seasonal
comments?
planting for
I
the-
can't hear you very well over here, so you want to do a beta test,
Beta test for community garden.
and you want to restrict the pesticides to
Our goal
organic?
is to go organic.
Okay, are we restricting it to organic?
Yes.
Okay. And the lock is okay on the chain link
Or a
fence?
combination of.
Lock is okay. Seasonal items only, right?
Right.
With the 2 raised beds, or 2 beds.
What about 2 beds?
The 2 beds that are there now.
Okay, we're only using the 2 beds, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so beta test already, got it.
Carry in and carry out your compost or your organic.
Dispose of compost, okay, got it. And the motion, already.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
and guidelines. That's what, you're not talking about good rules and guidelines?
We just make changes, and I said I'd rather
I'm fine with
approve something
changes.
without seeing all of the changes written out.
Oh, I got it.
So I voted that.
So, all in favor? 3, and all opposed? 1.
And also, when was that fence installed? I don't remember us talking about approving that, or spending money for that. Did I miss it?
We
I don't
just-
think we spent money, Mike.
They were donated,
It was all material that was left over on the property when we purchased the park.
and it's not gonna cost the town anything.
No, I was just like, the fence was already installed, I was like, I didn't remember any conversation about us approving anything, so.
We did.
It was installed September
Thank
2022, based on the photograph.
All right, any questions for Pat? I just want to share, and I know you probably haven't had a chance to reach out to her, but I did forward some contact information for a young lady who comes out and does education programs at school. She's willing to come out and do educational programs at the park or at town hall. It's through the Union County Soil and Water Conservation District, and she's great. She does programming at other parks too. So the kids love it when she comes to visit. So
Great.
great relationship to build.
All right, thank you.
Any questions for Pat? Thank you, Pat, and thank you, Gordon. All right, that leads us to the Communications Committee. Ms. Bledsoe?
We had our second annual art show today, tonight, this afternoon, and it was standing room only. We had a lot of parents show up. All but 2 children came, so, that was a really good turnout too. I want to thank the Communications Committee for sponsoring it, for, purchasing the food and the drinks and the framing of the this, that, and the other of the art from last year. The new West Chapel Elementary School, the teacher's new this year. I think I told you this before, and it was too complicated for her to have a show, and she just really wanted to just keep it simple by just having, us judge what they could present. So it wasn't, so we only had another one when that was tonight. Dogwood Grove dedication was April 13th. At Dogwood Park, it was about 30 people showed up. And once the plaques were in place on the trees, thank you, John Duffy, the remaining 7 trees sold like hotcakes. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, they just all sold the same day. And April 27th, the Inquirer Journal ran a front page story on the Dogwood Grove. Wake Forest, who donated the 25 trees last year, they were not happy with the fact that we had to replace 10 of the trees. And I think that was the reason that they decided to kick the contribution that we were going to make from the proceeds back to us. And they asked that we use it to purchase more dogwood trees in the future and expand our dogwood grove. And it occurred to me that we should probably purchase a dogwood tree in honor of them because of what they did. And, I don't want to have another sponsorship effort. I want to continue what we have now. In other words, we sold a tree today, tonight, sold a tree. And so what I'd like to see us do is just with the money that Wake Forest did not take, to set that money aside and use it for purchasing other dogwood trees and continuing with, because there's lots of room still, continuing with the dogwood grove. I think that's a really good thing to do. And the plaque should be in pretty soon for the new ones that we sold.
How much money are we talking about?
$1,000. It's what was left for Wake Forest. That was the contribution we were going to give.
And how much is a tree?
Depends on where you get it. They've gone anywhere from $190, $150, $200. It just depends on where you buy them. But John is able to get a reduced price on the people that he deals with because he does get so many things from them that they offer him a reduction in the price. I think the 10 that we bought were only like $60 a piece.
They're
So we were
typically
able to
90.
get 10 for $600.
They're typically 90, but they were discounted to 60 for us for this.
So,
The only thing is I strongly suggest we plant them in the fall.
of course. But I want to get together with John and kind of lay out, maybe figure out an expansion area and how that would look and everything. And move it to the other side of the walkway there, or want to keep it in that, so. But that's it. There's a
So do we need to make a motion or anything to set up a designated fund for that, or to keep those?
Yes.
Are you straight, or, I'm looking at Kathy.
Yeah, motion to put that 1,000 aside, that way we'll know what to spend it on.
Okay. I'll make a motion to set aside $1,000 into a designated fund to further the purchase of dogwood trees for Dogwood Grove.
A second, I've got a question.
Sure, thank you.
What happens if the trees that are planted now, one, several, some, don't make it through the summer? I guess what I'm asking is, should we set this in an escrow, should we set it in an account to make sure that the young trees that we just want, because we just planted some
That's right.
early this spring, that they make it through the summer before we spend the money we got in our pockets?
Yeah, well, any replacement trees will come from the $1,000. That $1,000 is set aside for dogwood trees, either replacement or new purchase. So, yes.
So we have
And
a
if we
motion.
can, I'm sorry, and if we continue to sell more sponsorships, that money will increase. Like we do one tonight. $100 for teacher.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Unanimous? Steve, that's all. Deb, do you have anything else? Any questions for Deb? All right, then I will invite up Mr. Deputy Skinner, who never talks back to me when I honk at him and whistle at him when he's directing traffic at WCW.
I know, I've yelled at you a couple of times too.
Most people do. Good evening, all, on National Law Enforcement Week. Planning board meeting on April 22nd of this year. Interesting, riveting. We were there to discuss about heritage that we approved back in 2016, one of the final plats. The nice people from Heritage didn't make the meeting, I understand, because there might have been a holiday like Passover or something like that, or something, they weren't there. So we had our board meeting, and we looked over the plat, and we spoke with the signs, and we have made recommendations, basically to ourselves, in the sense that, no offense, I could have taken everybody out to Brewster's for ice cream, okay, afterwards. One of our biggest concerns was the retaining walls there at Heritage. We had no information on them. Another concern we brought up was the floodplain and the closeness to one of the streams next to the lots that they have proposed, since we have an issue with flooding water. That's what we brought up. We highlighted some of them about the plots. Like I said, the biggest part was the retaining walls and of the hiking, the nature trail, going through one of them, the nature trail. And that was about it for Heritage. There wasn't much more, except that one of our planning board members was going to leave, and we're probably going to get a new planning board member when their terms come to end. And that was it. Our meeting was over by 8:15. Richard?
Oh, that's John.
What? Yeah, it's Richard, right?
Who's leaving? Is that?
Richard.
Richard.
But we appointed Jonathan
Yeah, appointed John.
last month.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought she was somebody else.
Yeah, no, no,
She's
no.
dropping like flies.
No. And then Francesca,
Francesca.
thank you.
Yeah, she's had an application on file to be, when she signed up for communications committee, she, applied for planning board. She's also served on the board of adjustment, so she said she's gonna have to let board of adjustment go probably. So I put on here to ask council to appoint her to the alternate 3 position, effective July 1st, 2024, with a terminating date of 6/30/2027.
Did Heritage respond?
Yes, I was in my comments, I was gonna say is, yes, I emailed them all the list of all of our discussion points. They did immediately respond back in a panic and flew in from Nashville, and met, and, they're working in pictures of the retaining walls, more details of the retaining walls. They are coming to the meeting. They put that on their calendar as we were sitting there. And there apparently was a lot of issues between when I showed them the final plat, they said that's not right. So there was a lot of issues that were on the final plat that were, that they're having their surveyor fix because they said that was, like, for example, the walkway and through the floodplain was not supposed to be there.
Because
Yeah.
one of the streets was Roaring Creek.
Roaring, yeah.
Yeah, Roaring Creek, there was some issues with that street, but apparently that wasn't, what was on the final plat, but we brought those questions up, and I guess they'll readdress them.
So the developers have a little bit of a quality control issue?
Yeah.
They had multiple engineers working
Yeah.
on this project. They don't, my impression, meeting, and conferring with them is they don't know who's doing what.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Again, senior housing has been one of the worst decisions this town's ever made.
We didn't really have a choice.
Obviously, we didn't approve it. We didn't approve it, we had some questions. And that was pretty much about the whole fun of that meeting there.
Mhm.
Am I missing anything, really?
No, that was our meeting, was discussing all the details of that plat.
Yeah, there's some issues. Right, am I missing anything else? All right, then. That's it. Do you have any questions?
Will they come back to the planning board?
Yes, they're on the agenda to come, and we're actually meeting next week.
Yes.
Because we had to rearrange it because of holiday, but they're on the agenda. I did actually just email them. They've been responding, but I'm waiting for the actual new plats. So they were supposed to be here last week. They're not here yet, so.
Yeah, this is on.
They're scheduled to be on the agenda next week.
This is
We'll
off
see.
topic, but did you know any of the law enforcement officers that were killed? Did you know any of the law enforcement officers?
Oh, no, no, I did
Because
not.
one's from Monroe, so I was just.
They were not. The deputy U.S. Marshal, the 2 from Department of Corrections, and the Charlotte, no. We had one of our deputies from Union County there at the scene, part of the task force, and today was the day we did the final escort through Union County for Samuel down at Lakeland Memorial Cemetery. So, anything else? Oh, he has something, I know.
I couldn't take your place for now.
Want these?
No, you
Oh.
know this. Just a couple of updates on some transportation things. So Sean Epperson, the Assistant Division Engineer, emailed me this morning, said that they were approved for $750,000 in spot mobility funds for the Cuthbertson Newtown roundabout, so that pretty much completes our funding for that. He was expecting it, but he got official word. He did inquire about the
the Cuthbertson and Newtown roundabout, is it going to be a designated turn lane first and then a roundabout later?
If they complete construction, yeah, it's gonna be a while before it actually gets built, yeah.
Well, one thing they're doing in preparation for the turn lane is they're moving utilities.
Yes.
Is there anybody who's, has an IQ over 80 that says, hey, let's only move the utilities once? We know what the roundabout's gonna look like, we know what the turn lane's gonna, instead of doing it twice, can we just do it once and save some taxpayer money?
That would be great.
Sounds good, but
And he has no control over that.
Hopefully it will be situated such that they don't have to move anything else. So that was good news. He did inquire about the village's contribution, the timing of that. I think we had discussed about that being appropriated the upcoming fiscal year. There wouldn't be a request for funds until at earliest October, but that was helpful. They kind of need to know for their planning purposes how much money they can spend and when and where it's coming from. The other, if you recall, we also had applied for a separate planning grant with other municipalities in the county for several different intersections around the county, including Billy Howe and Wesley Chapel Road. And so I've been working with Bjorn and some other folks on that, and they sent out some RFQs, and we scored some proposals we got back and met and discussed them and interviewed 2 different firms and then ranked them. And so there is a preferred firm now that the county's negotiating with, and so that should be getting underway probably this summer, fall. And there will be some public outreach as part of that process as they're designing the intersections.
I have gotten some questions about Potter, just July. Apparently they were out there doing some surveying or something last week.
They were. I stopped and talked to them.
So have we been told anything?
I'm hopeful that they will be a temporary signal as they're waiting.
Did they say anything to you?
Yes. We're talking about Potter and Wesley Chapel. So I was gonna call you that day because they were out there surveying, they were setting up the boundary markers on the properties for the utilities where they're gonna do the road. And that's why they were out there marking, the surveying team was out there marking it.
With sticks. Is that
The
what they?
sticks,
That's what that was, okay.
those sticks, they were out there for the whole day, surveying the whole, on their plat, what map I saw, where they were gonna move and where they were gonna make the boundary markers for the NCDOT roadway. That's what they were doing.
They're acquiring land now. We'll get that done pretty soon. And hopefully put up a temporary signal.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for the ongoing Mr.
Yeah, 84 in Potter.
Yeah.
Under analysis for redesign.
Has a permit been pulled for Taco Bell?
Not yet. They've been doing a lot of diligence on the project. Last week, we sent them a zoning letter.
Is Aston sharing any new lease signers?
Not yet.
But hopefully soon.
I think there was a holdup with Taco Bell related to Target.
Yes.
They have to,
The property owner's Target has to, the developer has to, and Target have to approve the overall, and we're waiting on hearing back from them. That's,
They must be anxious to get it going because they've already advised GCs to put it toward insurance. So that's why I'm not.
Has the vet let us on? Vet?
We just talked about that.
There's a lot,
Yeah,
there's
they're
a
open.
lot of cars there.
yes.
And any more from my favorite tree company? It still looks like a business there.
there's still a lot of, I couldn't tell exactly, but there still looks like a lot of trees piled up in the back.
Oh, there was a big truck with equipment on a trailer.
Well, they're not supposed to have that there.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. It wasn't there when I came through.
Oh, it was there when I took pictures the other day, and it was there this afternoon when I went by.
He came into the office and he spoke with me, and I followed up with Vaughn, and he said that they had moved their business and their business address out to Wesley Chapel, and that they had removed all of their big trucks. And he truly was baffled that there was still an issue, so I sent what I had to Vaughn.
Still
And
has firewood for sale, still has signs on the street. New signs that say, don't use his new little concrete pad to make a U-turn.
So what do you need to move forward? Some pictures of said violations?
I think we have lots of pictures of things they say they're not doing, like processing wood there.
And it's a lot of cars there for it to be a man's house and he's at work all day.
Well, we all know what happens, the employees show up at his place, they jump on the truck, they leave their cars there, they jump in the big trucks, they go out for the day trimming trees and whatnot, they come back
But
at the
that's
end of
not,
the day.
supposed to be their business.
I agree. But that's exactly what you're saying.
No, I'm saying. Not supposed to be there.
Any further questions from Mr. Hayes?
Would you like me to make a motion to appoint Francesca Mazaretsko to the planning board alternate chief position effective July 1, 2024 with a term end date of 6/30/2027?
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? She might need a little crash course in planning, Emily.
Okay.
And Amy, you could send her the meeting calendar and tell her that she starts July 1st, or whatever the July meeting is. Okay, that brings us to code enforcement. We need, in April, we talked about several nuisance properties being abated. So today, we need to deem these 10 properties, we need a motion to deem these 10 properties as nuisances and order staff to abate them. The property number, the parcel numbers are in your packet, and we are on status requesting funds to be appropriated to clean up these properties not to exceed $8,000. And that will include money for 2 deputies to be on site.
This will come from the unassigned fund balance, the $8,000. And if you'll read the suggested motion, that would. We do have someone lined up to take care of these properties. So once you approve it, each property will receive, or at least 6 of the properties will receive a 30-day notice. I'll wait maybe a week, and then the other properties will receive a 30-day notice. So we have a gentleman by the company's Blue Fox Landscaping. He owns a couple of pieces of equipment, but notably 2 dump trucks. So he's going to rotate them. We're going to hit these 6 properties. He's looked at them. He actually thinks the cost is going to be less than $2,200, but then we have to get the 2 deputies on there that will need all day, maybe 2 days until we can get this cleaned up. So $8,000 is. He said that each dump truck is about $500. So we're asking $8,000 to try to get it as done as efficiently as we can. But we know there's one big property that's going to take, 10 dump trucks to get it all cleaned up. I'm not sure exactly which one it is, but it's on the corner with all the debris piled up behind it. So we're just asking for $8,000, and we'll try to hit 6. And if we need more money, I'll get him to estimate it. If we feel like we're going to be too short, we'll come back and talk about it.
With the deputy costs, is there any way we can use our existing contract deputy?
That's what we plan to do. We plan to have Deputy Wicker out there, and then one other Union County Sheriff's Office if Deputy Wicker is available.
Well, we should be able to turn this available, right?
Tell him enough in advance, I think we should be.
Yeah, he should be good. I'll let him know.
But I don't know how that works. I mean, we have a deputy here. If Deputy Wicker's on the clock as patrol, when he gets called out, he has to leave, right? So I'm not so sure that might be our best, I don't know if that's our best bet. We're cleaning up properties, should we have 2 off duty so they cannot be called away?
They can't be called away.
That might be our best bet. No, if you hire an off-duty officer, they cannot be called away, right?
Well, they have to stay there. It would have to be be an honest, true emergency.
That'd be like a SWAT
Yeah.
event.
Gotcha.
Versus Brandon, I could see being called away probably pretty
On a call.
frequently, yeah.
Maybe he would agree to just pop in and check it out, you know, just kind of look and see what's going
Oh,
on.
we should definitely keep it, yeah, what's going on here.
Does this $8,000 include removal of motor vehicles?
No, it does not. The motor vehicle statute that we have, there's a little bit of a process, but the quickest way is to put a note on the windshield. But the problem that I ran up against is that we have to pull it away and store it for a period of time. Beyond that, I haven't memorized it, but because I don't have anywhere to store it, so,
I believe the statute also still specifies it has to have a value of less than $100, and everything's worth $100 now.
So, okay.
so we forwent the cars for the moment, but I'll look back at it again and get with Vaughn, and we'll see if we can, once we get this started and cleaned up. I will say other municipal clerks are very excited to see how well we do. So,
Is the plan to do all these in a single day, or is it plan on doing one, the next one, the next one?
we're going to block off from 6:30 to 4:30. He works 7 to 4, and we're going to rotate dump trucks from one property. We're going to try to hit 5 or 6 all at the same time. Not all at the same time, but consecutively. So I will give these people a window of time. We will be here on this day between, this 2 hours, this 2 hours, this 2 hours, so they can expect us.
But so you don't plan on doing all the properties all the same day?
We can't do them all on the same day because one or two of them are significant.
My suggestion would be to do the smallest ones first and then the biggest ones for last. Hopefully that will motivate the property owners to maybe pull a few things in so that it doesn't disappear.
Thank you.
And we've done everything legally at this point to allow this to happen, without any.
Well, not yet. You haven't set the notices out. The first step is declaring them nuisances, right? Then you have this, yeah. So no, but you're planning on it.
Well, I say yes because that was in the plan, but he's right, we have not sent the letters because I have to wait for you guys to tell me that I can.
In regards to that, I'll make a motion to declare 10 properties located within the borders of Wesley Chapel as a nuisance and a public health safety risk, and direct staff to abate said properties. It include parcel 094020068, 094020072, 0402074, 094020079, 094020078, 07096102, 07096057, 07096100, 07096098, and 07096094.
You kind of got a medal.
Is there
I'm
a
sorry,
second?
repeat that?
Is there a second?
Sounds like
Any
pie.
further discussion? All in favor? All right, then we need a motion to appropriate
seconded?
$8,000.
Who seconded that one? Thank you.
We need a motion to appropriate $8,000 from the unassigned fund balance for cleanup.
I will motion to approve up to $8,000.
Okay. Is there a second? Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. All right, that brings us to, any more questions from anyone? All right. New business. Kathy, I have spoken with the North Carolina League of Municipalities and had a phone call with them, and part of their ARPA funding, they are able to help municipalities look for grant funding. So in your packet, I'm scroll down to it. There is a proposed scope of work. I was under the assumption incorrectly that they could only help apply for Parks and Rec funding, but that was incorrect. I basically just kind of gave them a background of the town. So they have proposed a scope of work to provide technical assistance for grant funding in 3 areas: identifying grants, pursuing grants, and then managing grants. So the MOA would start June well, the MOA will start, I guess, when we sign it, and it would allow us up to $30,000 in support services for those options. So they might be able to help us find some grants, write the grants, and manage the grants up to $30,000. So it's at no cost to us, so we definitely wanted to pursue and see what, if anything, we find.
So recreation, public safety, technology, marketing grants.
So we are asking for your approval of this.
And Amy would spearhead this?
No. This is just, they'll let us know as they come across funding that might be applicable to us.
And Amy?
The biggest thing is you just need us to approve this.
Yes. We need you to approve the scope of work.
Motion to approve the NCLN grant acceptance scope of work.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous?
What?
David second.
David said.
I got that, thank you.
Just so y'all know, microphones are in the proposed budget for tomorrow. That brings us to the proclamation. We have a proclamation here that May is Brain Cancer Awareness Month. The time to raise awareness and educate the community about signs, symptoms, and risk factors associated with brain cancer, and to stress the importance of research funding to advance treatments and find a cure. Today, approximately 1 million Americans are estimated to be living with brain tumors, and in 2023, 18,990 Americans died from malignant brain tumors. The 5-year survival rate for malignant brain tumor patients is 35.7%. Brain tumors are the most common cancer and leading cause of cancer-related deaths among children and adolescents under 20 in the United States. There are over 120 brain tumor types which are difficult to treat due to functions of the brain, and treatment can have lasting and life-altering physical, cognitive, and psychological impacts on a patient's life. So by coming together as a community, we can go gray in May in support of those affected by brain cancer and honor the memory of those we have lost and advocate for improved resources and support services. So I hereby proclaim May as Brain Cancer Awareness Month in the Village of Wesley Chapel, and I urge all citizens to join in raising awareness, supporting individuals and families impacted by brain cancer, and advocating for continued research and progress towards a cure. And thank you to Amy for bringing this to our attention. And I will sign that and we can get it posted on the website and on our Facebook page. And then item number 12 has been scratched off. So it brings us to a WIBA update. I was unable to attend due to a conflict, so Deb attended for me. And then our next meeting, you are all invited to on May 27th. At 7 p.m., we are hosting the Charlotte Regional, we're hosting the CRTPO to give kind of a 101 for residents and municipalities. So
23rd
it is,
at 7.
it is May 23rd from 7 to 8:30. And Deb, can you just share what this meeting was about?
Marvin Mayor and the mayors from Marvin and Stallings both said they were probably going to be raising taxes. Mineral Springs said they would not be raising taxes because they have very few expenditures and they don't need to. But apparently these other two towns are having some difficulty.
Stallings and who?
Stallings and Marvin said they both the mayors said they would probably need to raise taxes. Just thought I'd throw that in there. May 26th is Marvin Day. They're going to have bands and fireworks and a whole bunch of good stuff. Stallings is going to give the farmer's market another shot. The last one faded away, but they're going to try again. Jeff Perriman from Weddington talked about something that concerns him. there's now a trend of building rental communities in light of people renting, in light of people are renting now rather than buying homes, because he said it's mostly with the baby boomers and the under 30s, because they want to be mobile and they don't want to be tied down to a house. As far as apartment living and stuff like that, they're tired of living in apartments. They want to, they want to rent, but they want to rent homes. So LLCs are buying up homes in neighborhoods and that are for sale and turning them into rental properties. Now you might say, okay, but HOAs prevent a lot of rental properties. There's also a state considering legislators to restrict HOA's power, which would affect their ability to restrict the number of rental properties in a neighborhood. So, anyway, that's pretty much it.
It's already a big issue in parts of Charlotte, in some of the more older neighborhoods that are more, cost effective for people to get into, but corporations buying them up and then driving out people who would normally be able to buy there.
My home.
Thank you, Deb, for continuing for me.
You're welcome.
And I get up on this because it is 8:11 and we are moving into council and mayor comments. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. I don't have but one thing. I just wanted to bring everyone's attention to our new volunteer fire department photos. Those are both Wesley Chapel. They are provided by Wesley Chapel because we told them we wanted to include them in our gallery of art here. And we do not have the little plates underneath it because they're trying to give you some information to go with it, like the date of that fire. That is the McDonald's fire. And so anyway, the chief was really excited about us putting those pictures up here. He said he can't wait to come up and see them. And he's getting that information for me. So that's all.
Next.
No comments.
I just want to remind everybody, we have our budget meeting tomorrow, and I believe that's an open meeting. Everybody
But you can't talk.
Well,
Go.
you want to know how your tax dollars are being spent. Meeting's tomorrow at 6.
6 p.m.
The only other thing I was looking through my notes is, want to bring it up when we were talking about the Parks and Rec and the bridge. The 2 bridges we just built are hopefully going to last a good long time, but I want to budget a couple of bucks to either stain them when it's appropriate, or there's another company who wanted to do a special sealer on it. Let's give it a 300% lifespan compared to a regular bridge. I know we're going to be talking a lot about budget things tomorrow, and specifically with the unknowns about the dam and what the costs are going to be associated with that. I just hope we all keep it in mind as we move forward. That's it.
I'd just like to thank Councilmember Bledsoe for the wonderful work she's been doing for community outreach and engagement, with the effort with the Dogwood Grove and the sponsorship and then the art, the second annual art show, being able to get the students at the local elementary schools involved in all our work supporting it. And that's really relatively new and different for us in the last few years. And so thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I actually purchased Deb a present to thank her, and I left it at home. So I guess y'all have to wait until next month to see her. But I was really excited about it. I forgot. It's worth the wait.
One last thing, is this available for the public?
There's some of it.
So we just want to make sure everybody knows.
And it gets posted on the website, doesn't it?
It does.
I'll make a comment about that. We are still working feverishly on the website. It is there. It is ready. We are just trying to get the domains hosted by our new company. So hopefully we are close to the finish line of something being out there.
We are ready, it's just that dang domain.
It has been quite a struggle for almost. So, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.